Hi there, my name is David Pratt. This is my recording for our final project for CST 356. I'm just going to be showing you the Internet of Things that we've created here, because that was the portion that I worked on the most. So it's a really simple application itself, actually. You can see we've got three classes here: REST service, audio, and DAO. If you look in the main package here, we have just a business and data. Business is going to have the REST service, data's got that model and the data access object. So we'll start at the top and kind of work our way down. We've got a REST service with a helper function that returns an audio, that adds an audio. And this calls, it creates a bunch of random information, and then creates a new audio with that random information, and then uses the audio.insert function, which I will get to in a minute. And this is called from right here, which has the mapping of /insert. And I'll show you a live demo of it in just a sec. We've got public void insert. So while this is true, I just printed out that we're starting to insert things. While true, just so it's a never-ending loop, we've got an audio that we created from that add audio function. And then we print out the audio itself. And then we're just waiting 5 seconds and catching an exception here. So sleep for 5 seconds. And then that's it. That's the main thing right there. We'll dive into it a little bit deeper here. So in the audio, we're calling audio.insert. So that's right here. We're instantiating a new DAO, and we're calling the DAO insert, and we're using this function, or this class as it. So then in DAO, we're creating a class for the driver, which I know this is deprecated, but it was the only way I could make it work. It kept giving me errors otherwise saying there was no driver, even though the driver is in my pom.xml and is in my class directory or whatever, class path. So we grab a connection to the database using that driver to this database called MyDB. And then we're creating a statement. In that statement, we're using the SQL query insert into sounds, frequency, duration, decibel, amplitude, timestamp, device ID, values. And I just entered it all under device ID of 1. We made this extensible so that you could add, if you have other devices, you could use grabbing a device ID that way. And then we're catching obviously the SQL exception there. So, and that is mostly it. Trying to figure out what the rest of this is. All getters and setters, basically, and then constructors and toStrings and that kind of thing. So, yeah, and that's the gist of it. So, go ahead and run it for you right now. Run on server. I've been using a Tomcat server instead of using a Wildfly server, just because Tomcat is working for me and Wildfly wasn't. So I decided to do it that way. And it shouldn't affect too much no matter what server you're using to run it, as long as you're running it on a server. What we'll get initially is going to be an error page that's going to say that this isn't found, and that's because it's trying to access this. It's trying to access just IoT /, which I don't have any welcome files defined in my XML. So I left that blank. And you can see we got that 404. If we go to test, this I use just to test it, and you can see there's just a simple view, or just actually it returns a string called home. So if we actually go to insert, nothing updates on the view itself, but if we look down here, we've got it telling me that JDBC is deprecated, and then it's starting to insert audio. So we have 3 in there right now. I'm going to switch over to Table Plus here, which is my tool that I've been using to view my tables. We'll kind of make this smaller here. Go into sounds. So you can see right now there's 25. If I refresh it, Control R, we've got a 26th one. For 5 seconds, refresh it again, we've got a 27th one. So you can see that it's actually inserting data into that table. So if we minimize this for now, you can see that we have all of these that have been inserted so far, and that every 5 seconds it just keeps jumping up to another one. See, there's another one popping up right there. So that's the basics of how it works. Because I designed this as a REST service, I didn't use any views. It is simply to be consumed by that database, and then the database can make a call to the IoT to start inputting information into the database. The application itself can make a call to the IoT to insert stuff into the database. If this was a real IoT, it might be designed to maybe cache its data, and then, when the IoT asks, or when the application asks for the information from the IoT, it both dumps its cache into the database and dumps its cache into the application itself, so that the application has data to display. That would be one way of going about it, making it a little bit more user friendly there. But yeah, that is how I design the IoT, and thank you very much.